Hey, it's Jen, and it's time for the Power Chord devlog. This week, we had a chance to sit down with Tom, the talent behind the music of Power Chord. We talked about his experiences composing music for the game, as well as all of the SFX and everything in between. Let's see what he had to say. Where did you gather inspiration from when you were composing the music for Power Chord?
Well, there was sort of a mission statement off the bat with a big list of bands. One of the ones that stood out for me was Red Fang, which is sort of like a stoner rock band, for lack of a better term. And from that sort of sprung some stuff that I'm really into, sort of doomy rock stuff, like Mastodon in particular is a big one, and a Pallbearer. Because I knew there was going to be a sort of fantasy demonic element to it, I wanted to kind of introduce that sort of doomy stuff so that when you got to the bosses, it could get really heavy, but there was also sort of like a fast-paced energy to it.
Can you walk us through the audio production process for the game?
At least as far as the music is concerned, I'll be presented with a level. In the case of this game in particular, there's sort of an environment that needs music, or there's a boss, a particular character that, we're trying to evoke. So, for example, one of the environments is an alleyway. So, I kind of wanted to introduce some like industrial elements to that. There's like some trash can samples in one of those tracks. So little things like that where I'll try to draw from the graphics. And then so that goes back to the production team. As far as the sound effects are concerned, we will generally get animations, and we like to design to as much of the detail of that as is possible. So whether that's, visual effects or with characters that have special abilities, we want to be as sort of specific to that particular ability or effect as possible. So we'll get a batch of files from animation, we'll kind of do that case by case, and then it goes into the game.
What were some of your favorite sound effects that you got to capture?
There's a big beast in the game that we got to do some voice design for, so that kind of stuff is really fun. You get to kind of imagine what a particular creature or character would sound like and sort of augment that stuff with effects and really kind of dig into the design element of that. But there's also a lot of just special abilities and elemental attacks and that kind of stuff, whether it's based off of just a word or an actual visual reference. You get to kind of work off of that and think, what does something that's sharp sound like? What does glass sound like? What does ice sound like in that particular context as an attack? And you kind of build off of that and do varying degrees of it,
And what was your favorite audio track from the game?
I mean, you're always partial to the last thing you did. So I just recently finished the music for one of the final bosses. It's always fun to do music for a boss because it's sort of a full throttle version of whatever it is that you're kind of crafting for the game. I think I'm probably partial to that right now, but I'm really proud of the main theme, and that's obviously something that you sort of try to capture an overall vibe for the game off of the bat, and thankfully that has kind of at least in my mind stood the test of time. So yeah. A competition between those two right now.
Did you encounter any strange or funny audio bugs?
So, early on when we were doing the voice recording stuff, we actually got a whole bunch of people in the office to do some recording for us. And it was still kind of in the stage where we were experimenting with the sort of tone of the game and whether we would include any actual English words in the game. So one of the people who came in to record was amazing and very energetic and emotive, and we just kind of got into a flow, and he started kind of shouting random phrases in his attack recording session, and some of them being like, take that, and things like that, where he's like working it in to the character. We were really trying to like build up, even though it's there's no dialogue for this character in particular. trying to think of, little, like, it's sort of a minion demon character and kind of trying to build off of that. So we got a few gems out of that, and we kind of, we started to introduce it into the game, but it became apparent that it was maybe a little over the top, campy in the context, but it was really fun to record.
Take that! Ha! Take that! Put yeah! Take that! Squank! Squeak! Squat! Ow! Ah! Mommy!
Make sure you check out the brand new Power Chord demo, which is now available on Steam for free. That's right. You can download the new demo, play through with new cards and new bandmates, and share your feedback on your playthrough by joining our Discord. Both links can be found below. Well, that's all for this week. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you bandmates later.